have to start off with the USMNT and their improved performance as they earn a draw with Brazil. Uh, Look, it's a game that finished 1-1, which is a very good result for Brazil. And this, out of 20 appearances now, this is the first time they've drew against Brazil. So in that aspect, it's a great performance. Also, when you look at the fact that Matt Turner, he had 11 saves versus Brazil, which is the most by any U.S. men's national team goalkeeper since one of the best goalkeeper performances ever was Tim Howard and his ridiculous 15 saves on the round of 16 against Belgium. This is the most by USMNT goalkeeper since then. Great performance by him, despite having a shaky start, because he did, playing out of the back, he did turn the ball over, which I'm not going to completely blame him for, because it's a little bit of a long ball gone wrong instead of a purely Matt Turner mistake of playing out of the back. Now, obviously, he that's his weakness, playing out of the back. He's not good with the ball at his feet, and it was his mistake. He could have put a little bit more air on the ball, but it's not like a short pass situation where it's just a clear wow, like a shocker of a pass. So I'm not giving him a pass on it, but there was, especially immediately after I was looking at Twitter, there was a lot of criticism going his way that I thought was just a little bit over the top, just a little bit over the top. Now, as far as the USMNT's performance, they had opportunities in this game that they could have went on and potentially won the game, in my opinion. Based on some of the opportunities that they had, they could have won this game if they were just a little bit more cutting edge and were able to finish off a few opportunities. They also had Yunus Musa, who struck the post within 4 minutes in. That's a big play in the game, and it's an unlucky play, because how many times do you see a ball hit the underside of the crossbar, hit the back of the goalkeeper, and not go in? It just never happens. They usually always enter the back of the net. So I was watching, when I saw the live replay, I was just questioning physics. How does the ball hit the underside of the backboard, the crossbar, hit back and roll the way it did, that it didn't roll into the back of the net? I've never seen that before, and it really defies physics, because naturally a ball should not roll like that after hitting, after the way it hit his back. It should not roll parallel to the ground. It should be, going back the other way, which was just, a crazy thing to watch, and very unfortunate for Yunus Musa, because that was a great strike. He hit that so purely and so true. Now, the U.S. did perform well. First of all, let me read the stats real quick. 12 shots for the U.S. men's national team compared to 25 for Brazil. 7 shots on target compared to 12 for Brazil. 39% possession compared to 61% for Brazil. And Brazil's only goal coming off of the Matt Turner mistake, losing the ball, turning the ball over within the own half. Rodrigo being through. Finishing it as clinical as Rodrigo is. And then the U.S., Christian Pulisic wins a free kick, and he scores a brilliant free kick, keeps it on the ground right outside the box, nestles it into the corner, 1-1. And but Brazil did have a lot of opportunities, especially with the pace that they had and the way the U.S. played with the really high line, in my opinion, an incredibly high line. Brazil of Matt Turner didn't have a great day, and if Brazil just were more clinical, Brazil should have easily won this game. They had a ton of opportunities going in behind. You had Vinicius getting in behind. You had Rodrigo getting in behind. You had, when Endrick came on, he had a few opportunities going in behind, and the lack of pace of Tim Ream and Chris Richards compared to the likes of Brazil was really exposed, in a sense, because of how high the line was that the U.S. played. And it was up and down in terms of the US playing out of the back. There was certain plays where the US just looked brilliant, the way that they were able to control. There was Tim Ream, he was doing Cruyff turns within his own box, and there was periods in the game that they played out of the back brilliantly well. They invited the pressure of Brazil, and they were able to play it around them and build out. There was periods where it was great, but there was also other periods where they lost the ball in bad areas trying to play out, which, with a team that is that's more clinical in the Copa America, it's something that we will be punished for, because there were a few opportunities that we lost the ball in very bad areas of the pitch. There was a multitude of opportunities. Now, they played a midfield with Musa, McKennie, Gio Reyna, which they started off with that. I was impressed with Gio Reyna and the work rate he put up defensively. I have to say, I still believe a midfield of him, McKennie, and Cardoso is still too open in the bigger games. I think a midfield of Musa, McKennie, and Gio Reyna gives a little bit more balance because there's more pace in that midfield. I still think, I think João Gomes was horrible. I think if you bring in a likes of Douglas Luiz, if he starts the game, I think Brazil, or Andres Pereira, I think Brazil have a better opportunity to really control that midfield. But I was impressed with Giovanni Reyna's work rate defensively. Don't get me wrong, I was. So that's something I will give him his credit for. Now, as far as Matt Turner, I think he was the man of the match for the U.S. Anthony Robinson, I think he handled Rafinha, and he got into the attacking end. He made some lively runs. He was a factor in there. He made Danilo worked. So I was impressed with Anthony Robinson. Tim Ream, I was really, really impressed with the fact that he is 37 years old and the way he had to deal with the pace, playing as high as he did, and how important he was playing out of the back. He was very, very important. So yeah, Tim Ream, I thought it was very, very good. I thought Giovanni Reyna was solid with how he played defensively, but wasn't really able to affect the game much with the ball at his feet in terms of being able to dribble past the Brazilian defenders. I thought Timothy Weah was very good. I think he created space for himself. He was able to, be aggressive, and he provided verticality. He was very, very good, and he provided support defensively. Pulisic, I thought he was also, one of the men of the match of the game based on essentially the free kick, and he did win the free kick, and there was few other opportunities that he had a chance through his work to potentially put them in front, but he was off by a little bit, and he is a great player. I think Johnny Cardoso was actually Ricardo Pepi. I didn't talk about his performance. I thought he was pretty decent. I think his back to goal was good. When the ball got up to him, it stuck. He allowed guys like Timothy Weah, Christian Pulisic to join in to attack in terms of that aspect. He didn't really get that much opportunities created for him. So, that's the deal. But I thought he was pretty solid. I think Cardoso was actually very, very good in terms of the fact when he came on the 64th minute. I thought within possession, he looked very, very comfortable, very structured. And, he looked like he was technically not outclassed. He looked like he fit in with Brazil, which, makes sense. He is a guy that's, he's been in Brazil his entire life. So no surprises really there in terms of that. And I think he is a very good backup number 6 for Tyler Adams as they move on, as the U.S. continue to build this sort of thing. Now, as far as the Brazil national team, I think it's another rather disappointing game. I think, the Mexico game was pretty disappointing at times. Certain times that they played pretty well, but certain times it was frustrating. And this U.S. game was pretty disappointing in the fact that they were not clinical. And Rodrigo, I've always thought his performances has been steady for Brazil. He got the goal today. He was clinical with his opportunity. So, okay, I'll be fine with Rodrigo. I'm fine with Rodrigo. But Vinicius Jr., his performances for Brazil needs to step up. And I think Vinicius, there is people critical of him in terms of Brazil fans, but this happened during the Neymar era and the expectations that they had on Neymar. And if Neymar had some of these performances the way Vinicius started off his career with Brazil, man, the criticism will be heavy. So I think Vinicius is getting a little, he's still getting criticism, but the treatment is nowhere near as severe as I'm expecting it to be. And I fear for him for this Copa America, because these performances cannot continue. Especially when you look at what he's done for Real Madrid. What he's done for Real Madrid and what he does for this Brazil national team is completely different. It's almost two different Vinicius Juniors. I don't recognize this Vinicius Junior. It is not the same Vinicius Junior that it plays on the Real Madrid national team. He has a total of 3 goals in his international career for Brazil. 3 goals in 30 games. That is ridiculously low. I can't put into words how shocking that stat is and how wrong that is. When you see the levels he's provided for Real, he's already the leading goal scorer for Brazilians ever in terms of goals and assists in Champions League knockout stage games at age 23. 3 goals for Brazil. He was nowhere to be seen at the last World Cup. He was nowhere to be seen at the Copa America beforehand. It's a joke to compare him to the likes of Neymar. The comparison is not there. It's not there. And he really needs to step up. And he has a golden opportunity to step up, because with the Copa America coming up, with the Ballon d'Or being on the line. But Vinicius has to take that next level, because this team is not the 2002 Brazil team with Ronaldo, Romario, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, Roberto Carlos, Cafu. They don't have that, The stars, the superstars are limited within this team. And one of the few ones that are there in Vinicius is not stepping up. And yeah, he has to.